Well, after a week of market mayhem, Donald Trump has finally blinked, announcing a 90-day pause on all of the higher tariffs, except for China. The universal 10% tariff will remain in place, but news of the pause sent stocks soaring. The Dow rising 7.9%, the NASDAQ up 12.2%, while our own NZX 50 closed just over an hour ago, up 3.3%. But it was falls in the US bond market that prompted Trump's change of tune, as a sharp sell-off raised concerns about America's ability to honour its debts. The chaos is far from over, though. Trump escalated his trade war with China, raising its tariffs to a new high of 125% after Beijing raised its tariffs on American goods to 84%. Senior reporter Juliet Speedy wraps up another head-spinning day for the global economy.
After his screeching tariff U-turn, Donald Trump was trying to take credit for the recovery from a crash he engineered, boasting about the stock market soaring 7% today, on news he'd lifted tariffs for many countries.
Yeah, that's up almost 7 points. 2,500 points, nobody's ever heard of it. It's going to be a record.
Nobody's ever heard of it, he said, but no one has heard of trade policy that appears to be set on a whim. After insisting for days he would hold firm on his aggressive trade strategy, most commentators believe Trump caved in the face of alarming disruptions in the huge market for US Treasury bonds.
US leaders getting in his ear, and also business leaders and getting in his ear and saying, you know, you're doing completely the wrong thing here. And if you don't do something, the global market may collapse.
News rippled around the world that his tariffs were falling to 10% for all countries except for China, which increased to 125%.
A deal could be made with every one of them. A deal's going to be made with China. A deal's going to be made with every one of them. And there'll be fair deals. I just want fair.
Within seconds of the news, the stock market soared. Apple up 15%, Nike 11%, and Tesla an astonishing 22% in one day.
Still down 7.2% year to date in the S&P, and it was up 23% last year. So, it's given up a lot of the gain it had for the last 2 years.
So to me, it wouldn't be surprising at all if we were to see most of today's gains, which look like a sort of a slightly emotional relief rally, undone in the next few weeks.
As Trump abruptly changed course via social media, his highest-ranking trade official was being grilled in Congress, apparently unaware of what was happening.
How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've been.
So the trade representative hasn't spoken to the president of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have. I've just been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet? WTF? Who's in charge?
The President of the United States is in charge.
The President sure did take charge of global trade 1 week ago with his so-called Liberation Day, unveiling sweeping punitive tariffs that sent shockwaves around the world.
You think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see.
But the numbers on these charts soon changed. Later, he announced a 50% charge for China, dismissing the idea it would drive trade partners into the hands of the Chinese.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
Boasting only yesterday about it working.
I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass.
But there was no call from Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Their relationship soured over COVID, which Trump called the China virus, and accused them of unleashing on the world.
I get along with President Xi. I have over the years, but, you just, when COVID came, that was the end. That was it. That was called the bridge too far.
The world's two largest economies are now locked in an escalating trade war. And no matter what Trump does next, economists warn that the global fallout from all of this will undoubtedly last for years. Major companies that rely on international smooth trade are now scrambling. For instance, Apple chartered 5 plane loads of phones from India and China to the US to beat the tariffs.
Yeah, I think the risks of sort of reasonably nasty adjustments, risks of really extreme volatility are as real as they were at any time in this presidency.
There will still continue to be a shakeout of this for the next, few years.
The effects of Trump's tariffs are already being felt on the other side of the world.
Because of Trump's policy, Chinese companies are not receiving as many orders as before. the bilateral trade will go down. The way we trade is changing.
The risks to New Zealand is less clear. China's increased their own tariffs on the US. So we've now got the two biggest economies in the world making up 40-45% of GDP, deep in a trade war with each other. So the risks there for the world economy are still pretty severe.
AI-made memes from China now circulating of Americans in factories doing jobs the Chinese traditionally do. But Democrats are also accusing Trump of manufacturing a market manipulation scheme. Earlier in the day, the president tweeted to his 9.4 million followers that it was a great time to buy. Hours later, his tariff pause sent markets soaring.